Hi everyone, I thought tonight I would show you guys how to go about painting a large abstract watercolour. So this is going to be a pure abstract, so unlike a lot of my landscapes that are semi-abstract landscapes, I suppose I would call them, then this is going to be a pure abstract, and there's lots of ways you could go about doing this, but tonight I'm going to use these three colours here. We've got Winsor Red, Winsor Blue red shade, and we've got a mix of Winsor Blue red shade and light red here. So we're just going to use these three simple colours and we'll apply it in various ways and see how we go. So all the paper, paints, brushes that I use will be in the description below. So check that out. Right, and if you guys want any more help with your watercolours, then you can always join me on Patreon. And yeah, let's get started. So the first step, I suppose, is to come up with some sort of plan, and of course you could do some smaller studies to try and figure that out. You could use some photo references and try and take that towards abstraction. There's an infinite number of ways that you could go about doing this. Of course, you could paint the way I often paint, which is just to start with no plan and start making some marks, but sometimes it's a really good idea to have some sort of a plan. So I think tonight I'll start with the Winsor Red, and I'll just bring in some organic shapes that are just based off sort of map references to the waterways that are around us. So it's just aerial photographs of the area around where we live here, and most of that is the Port Hacking river system that comes into the national park and around near us here. So, but you could really base abstraction off anything. So let's just get started. I'm just going to wet the page with this spray bottle, and this is a big page to wet. So again, I could leave some dry areas so there was some dry brush marks, but I'm just going to wet all this tonight. And of course, I could just wet it with a brush without using the spray bottle. You don't have to use a spray bottle. You could just use a nice loaded up brush. And the other thing you could do as well is of course wet behind. I've just got it taped at the top, and if I wanted to I could wet behind a little bit just to help that paper to settle and flatten onto the board that it's supported onto. Because we can see it's curling up a little bit here. I don't want to obviously rip the tape off. So the way I want to manipulate this sometimes I want to be able to tilt this board, so I'll obviously have to take these off. So I'm going to get it nice and thoroughly wet. And I might come in with this big brush because it's just going to make, for the size of the page, it's going to make some nice marks. I definitely wouldn't come in, unless I was doing some finer details, with a 1-inch hake brush for this size piece of paper. And of course I could pour this on too. So this is just I'll leave this brush loaded up so I don't waste it. And I'll just bring in some Winsor Blue red shade. loading up this little leftover yogurt container here with this Winsor Blue red shade and light red mix. I'm just going to tip this in here. Different marks again. Just tipping in a bit of alizarin crimson here. I might just even wet it a bit here. Again, I'm going to wet it a bit. Pouring in a little bit more of that mix of Winsor Blue red shade and light red, the darker mix. Getting a little bit more of the Winsor Red. Get a bit more strength. Now let's see, there's a much weaker wash. See that move. Bit more salt. Alright, I might just try this now, I think. We'll see what it looks like when we're done. So this took a lot of drying actually, and so that you can see here with the salt, all the salt that I put on took away a lot of the pigment, so a lot of that strength of tone, but not where I didn't put it, which was here. And actually I don't like this abstract this way, but when I turn it up, if I turn it up this way, which you guys won't be able to see all of it, but if I turn it up this way, I actually quite like it. So this is the way I think I would orientate it if I was to, you know, sign it and get it framed or something up this way. I think it works quite well with a signature down here. You know, I quite like it as just a pure abstract based on the water system around here. It's pretty cool. But maybe abstracts, you know, they're not for everyone. But so the longer I paint, the more I really love abstraction, and I just love it for the complexity and for the figuring out that occurs along the way of that sort of organic process of producing something that you feel works or makes the viewer comfortable or really makes them feel something. That's what my paintings are always about, of trying to get people to feel something. Even if it's, you know, a strong emotion of just, you know, disgust or something. I'd rather produce strong emotions than just nothing. So thanks guys. I might just end up looking at this a little bit longer, potentially signing it down here and orientating it the other way. So yes, so thanks for joining me. This is one way on how to paint an abstract in watercolour. There are a million ways of how to paint an abstract. You could just get a brush and just do lines, you know, just lines of different colours. You could flick paint, just pour it all over it onto a dry piece of paper. So many things that you could do. It's infinite. But it is good to probably have some sort of a plan. So thanks for joining me tonight. I will see you in next week's video, and thanks for your support. Any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you again soon. This painting and others are for sale on my website and also on Blue Thumb online if you want to check that out. That's an Australian based online gallery that also ships all over the world. So my paintings are on there and on my website. So thanks guys, I'll see you next week. Good night.